Hello, everybody. I am 10K, the epitome of holy, sacred, divine femininity. And today's topic of discussion is the feminine fatale. All right, so I checked Google, right? I was guided, kept hearing the word feminine fatale. Now, I didn't heard this word before, but I didn't know exactly what it meant, and I'm glad I didn't know what it meant because I wouldn't have it was best, right, so that I didn't have an subconscious idea, subconscious programming of what other people say that the feminine fatale is, right? But I did do some small research, okay? Small research. I went on Google and I asked, I'm like, what is feminine fatale? And basically they talked about how it is a woman who is a woman who is very powerful in her seductress energy. She has the ability to be able to seduce men. She has the ability to command. She has high sexual energy. Is very dominating. She's alluring. Yes. They kind of speak of her in a negative connotation, but today we're gonna deep dive on what that is, what that looks like, what it looks like, from a woman's standpoint, not Google's standpoint, not from a patriarchal standpoint, and we're just gonna dive deep and go and intersect and dissect, right? All right, so the feminine fatale. If you ask me, right, the feminine fatale, first let's break the word down. Feminine, right? Feminine is the energy of receiving, right? When you think of feminine, you ask yourself, what are the character traits that come to mind when you hear feminine, right? Right off the bat, for me, when I hear feminine, I think of gentle, kind, empathetic, sympathetic, empowering, leadership, chaos, balance, harmony, nurturing, and you break that down and you put fatale behind it, right? When you hear the word fatale, it almost sounds fatal, right? It kind of sounds like a fatal attraction, but it just sounds fancy to say fatale. So it sounds like feminine fatal, right? A woman who's femininely fatal, right, to the man, right? She can bring a man to his knees, but I don't look at that as a bad thing, especially, right? They always make it seem like the woman is somebody who has to be submissive, but nothing about the feminine energy is submissive by nature. Now, we can be submissive. Now, we can very much be submissive, but our energy is so dominating, right? You can look at nature and society and media and look at how influential the feminine energy is, right? Whether that's in a positive way or quote unquote negative way, but you can see the feminine energy leading in things like nature, right? Look at nature, you see the trees, you see the water, rain, the moon, the way hurricane is a feminine energy created within nature, right? That's another form of earthly feminine chaos and destruction. Now, when I say feminine chaos and destruction, do I mean in a way that can be a detriment to others? It can, by default, because feminine rage, especially when constantly disrespected, as you can see and study nature, it shows no mercy. Sometimes the good has to suffer with the bad, right? But it shows as a whole, when it comes to nature, that the feminine energy or nature or the things that's going on in the world towards the feminine, or just as a collective, Mother Nature is not happy with it. So therefore, chaos and destruction will come because feminine energy demands and commands respect, okay, and honor, right? So when it comes to that energy, the feminine fatale, that's also a part of the feminine fatale, right? patriarchy can look at the feminine as fatal, you know. And I feel like that comes from simply from them not understanding the energy, or it being intimidating, right? Because the feminine energy has a way of bringing and putting things in your face and bringing it to the surface, you know. The feminine, especially the feminine fatale, right, archetype, in my opinion, is an empowered woman. She embraces all of herself, her light, her dark, her chaos, her harmony, her peace, you know. So I feel like as women, we naturally know how to jump between both. Some of us tend to lean more to the light, and others tend to be lean more towards the dark. But neither one is bad. You just have to learn to have balance, you know, both with the light and the dark. Okay, no such thing as good or bad. You just have low vibrations and high vibrations, right? So the feminine fatale, right? Like I said, when you say that word, and it just sounds like a woman who's fatal. But is fatal really bad, right? I feel like they just make it seem like it's bad because they don't know what to do, or they can't handle it, or they just get weak in the knees. And me personally, I don't think nothing is wrong with that. And when I mean weak in the knees, I don't mean just a man who lets a woman or a feminine energy just runs all over him, but he becomes submissive to the feminine. I've had personal experiences with men who have took shrooms, right? And their experience with shrooms, and I try to go and, you know, go on a deep dive within their mind and observe them to see why they had this experience. But I've talked with men and heard personally and heard other stories, you know, through other men, through via social media, whether it's YouTube or Instagram, and they talk about their experience with shrooms and how they were on shrooms, right? And they met this feminine energy where this goddess and her light was so bright, like you couldn't even look her in her eye. You couldn't even, it was so bright. And all you could do was just kneel in her presence. They didn't want to disrespect her, or like they came correct, because her energy and her presence did not play that shit. You know, I feel like also, right, feminine fatale is the destruction of the male ego as well, right? Because when you're so, I feel like in personal experiences and other experiences from other women that I've talked to, where men tend to feel like intimidated by your power, and then once you're empowered, it just causes a change and a transformation. It causes a death of their ego, because you are empowered as a woman, a feminine, right? The feminine fatale, right? It just keeps going deeper and deeper, right? The feminine fatale is not just a woman who sexually seduces or have sex with a man to bring him weak to his knees. That's also, in my opinion, is very mental and emotional, which can also show physically. But I feel like it's just when a man bows down and honors the holy, sacred, divine feminine, right? A man who honors the holy, sacred, divine feminine in him, within him, around him, and in the presence of that feminine, right? It can be a very humbling experience. I've read books where men talk about their experiences of having sex with a woman, and while having sex with this woman, they go into this trance, and where they go into another realm and they meet the goddess through the portal, okay? Which goes back to the importance of sex. Don't be giving your sexual energy or just giving your good yoni energy to anybody, okay? This man was talking about, this is the sacred science of male and female sex, okay? In the book, he talks about how he had the pleasure and the honor of having sex with this woman, and through her life force, her portal, her yoni, okay, through the way of sex, physical sex, he got to meet this goddess named Nekbet. And when he met Nekbet, she basically told him, like, he was talking about how her presence was so, she was like this big ball of light. She was this giant presence, and he was like small like this, which was a humbling experience for him. Okay, very, very humbling for him. The feminine fatale, okay? The feminine fatal, okay? I like I said, I don't look at fatal as being a bad term or detrimental at all. You hear them confirmations going off? Not at all. The feminine fatale is nothing to be nothing to take lightly. It's a very powerful force in essence. And currently in my life, I'm learning to embrace that energy, because for me and for a whole lot of other women, society, patriarchy, growing up with men who wasn't in tune with their feminine energy, who tend to want to try to suppress your feminine energy because they're not in tune with theirs, or your feminine energy, your fatale, your energy to that you just naturally hold, that's empowering as a woman, is intimidated to them, and they don't know what to do, and it shatters the male ego. My bio and my Instagram for my page is not for the male ego, okay? So with that experience in my journey, right, also having women who operated out of a very masculine energy, didn't get to see that energy or get to see what that looks like of a woman embracing it. And it's kind of for the best, because I had to learn that for me and for myself, you know. I didn't have the example because I am the example, so I had to journey through this journey, and so now I'm learning to embrace, and you know, this is why we're here now. Talking about the feminine fatale, the feminine fatal, the fatal feminine. The fatal feminine just sounds so just devouring in the most beautiful way, right? It's like, it kind of sounds like a man-eater energy, but not in a man-eater energy to where it's like, I'm going to rule over you, but if you allow me to, I will, and I will lead you into your destiny and your purpose. Take my hand, grab my hand, you know. It's embracing the light in the dark. Love it over here. But yeah, that growing up, even having partners that would try to box me in, and that fatal feminine was just too much, you know. But it's okay. It's okay, you know. No matter what, you have to keep going, keep progressing, keep being you. And that's one of the things that I'm learning on my journey of embracing true authenticity. Authenticity. So yes, the fatal feminine, or the feminine fatale. She's a beautiful, empowered woman. She's chaotic but harmonious. She's very dualistic, very, very dualistic. You know, she knows how to exist between both, and with that, she knows her power, which is why, you know, men bow down at her feet. She can get whatever she wants. She is the alchemist, you know. Like I said, I feel like Google or patriarchy or men, they take that energy and they misinterpret it, which is why Google says what it says. But as, like I said, starting off in the video, from a woman, a feminine, a goddess, this is what that truly means, the feminine fatale. You know, when I say, before I got on here, I did not know where this video was gonna go. When the message came to me, like feminine fatale, like, why is this popping up? Deep dive, baby. I'm learning as I'm speaking, as I'm channeling. So yeah, so really embracing it. Like, the images that come to mind when I think of the feminine fatale or the fatal feminine is the woman who is, she is queen of the damned, right? Queen of the damned. I think of a woman who's eating the heart of men. The energy looks like being honored, men just at her feet. You know, she's not your average woman. She could have men all over her, massaging her, throwing themselves at her, doing whatever, and she still will probably not give you, probably not give you her sexual energy. And because she knows how to harness her energy, she knows how to execute her energy, because she's very in tune with her sexual energy, but she's also a powerful healer, manifester, okay? Because with great sexual energy means you have great healing energy, right? That's just by nature. Mosquitoes, flies. Great sexual energy, powerful sexual energy, transformative sexual energy, great powerful healing energy, okay? But in seasons where she has to be celibate and harvest that energy, wow, the manifestation that comes, the things that she gets, the energy transforms from being sexual to sensual, right? Sensual, in tune with the senses. They go hand in hand, you know, and they're both creative energy. So it's like a thin line between sexual and sensual. But sensual, whether through the taste of, whether through speaking or taste of food, through what you see, what you envision, all right, what you hear, what you allow to come in, what you smell, what you just, your breath, prana, making sure that you're constantly breathing. Oh, my nose is itching. Even your sixth sense, right? Your intuition. I notice in times when I'm being celibate or I'm cleansing my energy that everything comes to me faster. You know, I have seasons where I'm very sexual, you know, sex, but then my body, you have to listen to your body. My body will let me know, like, it's time to preserve that energy, harness that energy, and execute that energy. Because like I said, the feminine fatale or the fatal feminine is somebody who's balanced between masculine and feminine. So while you're harnessing that energy, that ain't nothing but creative energy, your solar plexus, your sacral chakra, you're harnessing that energy and you're creating, whether it's through the art, music, dance, you speaking, you are being, you're giving to the world. That's that masculine energy, giving, right? So, and the feminine is being able to receive. So when you're in this constant balance between those energies, the world just bow down to your feet, you know? So like I said, I don't look at the feminine fatale or the fatal feminine. That's how I like to look at it. That's what we're doing, okay? We're not coining the feminine fatale. We are redefining it with the fatal feminine. And that goes into so many different things. That goes into, you know, and when I say male ego, I'm not just talking about men, right? The male ego is because the masculine, okay, the masculine ego, because male is identified by physical identification and masculine is defined by the energy. So it's the death of the masculine ego, right? The toxic or imbalanced masculine ego. Because when you look at Aset and Asar, he had to even go through a rebirth, right? He had Aset by his side, and I'm pretty sure with her being the great sorceress, high priestess, empress, seer, she saw things with Asar and her and his brother, and he just probably didn't listen. He probably was, you know, stubborn, and he ended up getting killed by Set. But Set brought him back to life better than ever and balanced. And where you see him wearing his headdress with Set, he honors the feminine principle, the feminine energy as the guiding light, okay? Because who else than the creator herself, the creatress herself, the one who gives life, births life, holds life, the portal between life and death is woman. Who else than to have that as your guiding light, you know, your leader, you know, but both working in harmony and balance. So I'm gonna have to coin that. Yeah. But yeah, y'all, the feminine fatale, like, I look forward to journeying through the journey of the feminine fatale, the fatal feminine, and just redefining what that means and what that is, and living in that and living through that, you know. Is there any more messages, Spirit, about the feminine fatale that y'all want to speak on? This is just the intro, okay? We're gonna have a series breaking down the feminine fatale, the fatal feminine, okay? So yeah, so this is just my, you know, welcome back video, because it's been so long since I've been on YouTube. I had to go through so many transformations, but you know, I'm in my personal year 1, so y'all finna see a lot more of me, a lot more content, a lot more videos. And thank y'all for, you know, being along in the journey, in the ride. Thank y'all for liking, sharing, subscribing, and opening your ears and allowing yourself to receive my message, the divine message. And I give thanks and so much appreciation. You are loved, you are appreciated, you are valued, you are enough, you are amazing, you can do all things as long as you have faith of a mustard seed. 10K loves you, the epitome of holy, sacred, divine femininity, aka the fatal feminine, the feminine fatale. Okay, so I love y'all. Thank y'all for listening. Like I said, moving forward, we're gonna have a series diving deep into this, because I want to know more. I want to go deeper and deeper and deeper. Like, I love it. I'm always horny for knowledge. Also, I heard if you are not manifesting or bringing in the things that you want, it's because you're not horny enough. So make sure your hormones are balanced. Make sure you're getting proper rest and sleep. Taking your herbs for your to my women and my men. Make sure you're taking your herbs to help with your sexual energy, because like I just said, sexual energy is healing energy, which is also manifestation energy. Okay, your lower chakras is how you bring things to the top, bring things to the surface, bring things to you. All right, you must honor all. So yeah, y'all, love y'all. We'll be back soon, but thank y'all for listening. Look at how the sun is shining over my heart. I love it. Thank you, ancestors. Thank you, creator. Mwah.